I'm Breanna from Boom, and we're back with another exciting edition of Boom Chat. Captain Malik and the crew of the Vihaan II harvest resources from the giant corpses of alien gods found on the edge of human space, while other autopsy ships race to salvage the meat, minerals, and metals that sustain the human race. Malik sees an opportunity to finally break free from this system by being the first to find a living god. But Malik's obsession with the gods will push his crew into danger at the darkest reaches of space, unless the rogue agent on their trail can stop them first. This is such an exciting story. Al, my first question's for you. What was
Mhm.
the inspiration behind the story? Where did you get the idea for these giant gods and the way that civilization had to evolve?
I mean, there are a lot of different places. Obviously, I've been a big fan of Jack Kirby forever.
Mhm.
Um, there was also there's a short story by J.G. Ballard. I think it's called The Giant, about
Mhm.
a giant, a mythical giant figure who washes up on a shore of a small community and basically just rots down. They don't like salvage him or anything, but it's just like that's stuck in my head. The idea of the huge figure sort of slowly decomposing as the locals sort of poke at it, and so I mean, I guess that sort of found its way in there as well. But it's an idea I've been sort of kicking about for a few years now. Um, And yeah, just the idea of like just the visual image of sort of the huge dead god and the little ships sort of buzzing around, uh, taking the meat and the metal off it.
It's such an
Um,
interesting idea. Like I've never seen anything like it, and it's so cool. And I was just wondering, like, what possibly in like, is there any background in the story that like caused this to be the way that they do this?
well, we explain at the start of issue one. We have like a brief flashback of Captain Malik's mother, basically giving a very short version of the history of the mining colony, or I guess it's an autopsy colony now. But at one point, they were mining asteroids, and
Mhm.
then several generations back, the gods began to drift in from the gulf between galaxies. Nobody knows where they come from. Nobody knows why they were always dead. Uh, but it gave the mining communities new things to mine and caused a kind of, I guess, an economic boom um, that is now starting to come to a close as there are more and more ships mining the same amount of gods, and there's not enough to go around anymore.
Yeah, it's such a fun like race to see who's gonna get what. It's so interesting. I can't wait to see more. My next question is for Simone. Okay, Simone, the colors you use are gorgeous, and the images that you create have this ethereal quality to them. How did you come up with this color scheme for the book?
Working on the color of this book is not easy. It's my first project in which I color my pages, and I study a lot. Watched a lot of movie, read a lot of comics, watched a lot of TV series. And for the palettes, I study a lot from TV series, The Expanse from
Mhm.
Amazon. I really love The Expanse, and it's a great series. And I study the atmosphere, the direction, and the colors. And I saturated a lot, but for the comic book. But I really love this series. I use a technique for the ship. Each area of the ship have a different dominant. In order to understand well the place we are in, and make everything clear for the readers. Yeah, and for the gods, the dead gods, the great part of this book, we decided to use color like gold or pink gold or silver to give the sense of divine and the power of these great dead gods.
The research that you did absolutely paid off because it works so well. It has this beautiful quality to it, and it's just each page is just a feast for the eyes. So thank you for your work. It's just it's so beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next question goes back to Al. So after reading the first issue, I get the sense that Captain Malik is like this Captain Ahab type of character, like someone who's searching for something unattainable in looking for a live god. Is there anything in particular that you intended for the gods to represent?
I was thinking a lot about, the largest search for some kind of meaning, or religion generally is sort of like searching for a kind of meaning in existence. So a character like Captain Malik, he's, as we'll find out as we look at him and get to know more about his life, he's gone through a lot of very hard and difficult times. He's had some terrible things happen to him, and it's this obsession he's got is basically somebody searching for something to believe in. So I guess it's kind of like that. There's also the whole Moby Dick thing, a kind of Moby Dick in reverse, where instead of like hunting and killing these gods, he's like he's desperate to find one alive, because as we'll see, that might make up for some of the hardships and tragedies that he's suffered. It might weigh the scales the other way.
It's such an interesting story, and I mean, I like the idea of he's searching for something to believe in, because I mean, a lot of people are constantly looking for something to believe in, so it's like you can really connect to the story on that level, which I really appreciate. Okay, Simone, back to you. You touched on this a little bit in your last question, but what other research into the science fiction genre did you do to help inspire your art? Was there anything else other than The Expanse that you studied?
Yeah. The sci-fi genre is my favorite in absolute, and I read a lot and watch it a lot. I also read a lot of manga over the years, and I love Tsutomu Nie so much. And Aposints in English, I think, his later work is really inspiring me. Or film like Ad Astra, or TV series like, as I said, The Expanse. I read more comic book, American comic book, like Descender or Outer Darkness. Two titles that I really love. And I keep looking for new things about the sci-fi, because I want to read about it forever.
That's great. Well, it really paid off, because in the book you have a wonderful grasp of sci-fi and space and the ships, and it all works so well together. So well done, because it looks great.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Al, last question is for you. I'm going to get a little deep here. I apologize if it's a little too deep. I keep seeing connections between capitalism and pillaging the environment in this book. People fighting over the best parts of things instead of working together. Is this in any way a comment on society and how capitalism can create division between people?
I mean, I think it's more just sort of looking at the world and human nature currently, and sort of kind of writing how human beings would act in this situation, which I mean, that might sound a little cynical. I think, to be honest, it's not so much that people are sort of making commentaries on capitalism right now, it's that we're all in it, and it's sort of, it's happening, and we can see what it is and what it does, and that's gonna find its way into the work. I think I would rather have this thought of as a, um, more what I was talking about earlier about like, the more sort of esoteric aspects, if I'm using that word right, the more kind of theological aspects even. But the thing, you can't get away from capitalism. You can't escape it. It's kind of got control of all our lives to an extent. So yeah, it's going to find its way into the story. And if people want to read that as a critique, then that's fine by me. I do I do critique capitalism occasionally. I don't mind people reading it that way.
Well, that's great. It's such a fun story, and I mean, I'm so excited to see where the rest of the team and the crew goes. And so thank you both so much for your time. And everyone, and to everyone watching, be sure to pick up We Only Find Them When They're Dead #1 in stores now.